Yo! Hello, I'm Cranberry Langers. This is my review of The Lost Pages. Tome 1 is a compilation of Zaid comics. The Lost Pages 1, uh, Myths of the Lost Pages, and Lost Pages 2. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Yeah, so I'm just going to give a brief overview of what I think. I have a ton of notes on the books, but I want to get out of the way first. Again, I really enjoy the art. I really love it. The story and the story as it stretches over the Lost Pages and Myths of the Lost Pages and Lost Pages 2 really comes into its own and really seems cohesive by the end of the book, and you see that through line as it goes through there, and I really appreciated that through the book. And I also I'll just go through the big points here. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny, exciting, action-packed book, and I actually really appreciated it. And I have it with me right here. Yeah. There you go. Good book. Yeah. So it's very exciting. Good writing. I liked how the styles changed up from character to character, story to story. It is a series of tales which are compiled, and they take place at different times, various times, and in various locations, focusing on different characters. But there is a through line. There is an overarching story, and I just want to say that the universe that is built is very heavy, very rich, and I can see there being a lot of potential for future books going out in the future tales, future Lost Pages, and maybe some spin-offs. A lot of potential for spin-offs and other interesting to showcase some of the interesting characters that they have in the books. The other thing about the books is that it's not made for kids. Maybe older teens or adults at times, but it's a good read. It does read like something that I would have picked up as a teenager, or something from like the 90s and 2010s or so, and all the way to the 90s. It's really good. I got invested with it. One thing that was surprising to me throughout the series, or throughout this book, was that it had points of comedy within it, like little gemstones. I feel, and also also a lot of Easter eggs within the book, and I was actually surprised and contented about how invested I got into these characters, and how much I look forward to learning more about these characters, and how much I wanted to see more of each character as I read through each book. Like, I'd finish with one tale or one chapter, or not chapter, but I'd finish with one tale, one story, and I'd be like, oh, I really want to see more about this character. And I'm thinking about, plot and character backstory, and like power scaling and abilities and everything as I'm reading the book about these characters. And so I think that's really great, and that goes for the good guys and the baddies as well. just made me wonder, you know, it made me wonder if they, it made me wonder like the logistics of the characters and the universe that they're within. So I thought it was pretty awesome. I was very intrigued. I felt very invested in it. And I think it's just solid, good writing. I actually would put it up there with many modern comics, and the first portion of the book, the first portion of the tome, which includes Lost Pages 1, or just Lost Pages, and Myths of the Lost Pages, it felt like they were really heavy, like really laying down the bases of the characters, like their origins, and giving you a nice profile of what they are. I felt like Lost Pages set up some characters, and Myths of the Lost Pages built up on those characters, and also introduced new ones, which they could also introduce later into the story. And it made me wonder, are they going to be introduced later into the story, later into further Lost Pages books? And or are they just one and done characters, one and done stories, and then they drop it and then they go off in another direction, just world building in general? Or are they maybe laying groundwork for future spin-offs? Any and all of those would be a good choice, good decision to me, to my mind. And I would probably enjoy reading every single one of them. I'm just going to give some details. I do have some notes, but that's generally it. I felt like they were building it up in the first two sections of the tome, which was Lost Pages and Myths of the Lost Pages, and they were laying the groundwork, building out the groundwork, and then by Lost Pages 2, I really felt like the pace really picked up, and so those were things that were obvious to me, and it felt like they were more streamlined, or they were more connected. If it was intentional or not, it felt like the stories really slipped one into the other, going from there, and then it became more cohesive and more in line by Lost Pages 2, and by the latter part of Myths of the Lost Pages. And I'm just gonna give some notes here. For the other thing, the Lost Pages and Myths and Lost Pages 2, it felt like they were really centering on one or two characters, like Prim and Jazz and the Silhouette and Masquerade, and I felt like they were really focusing on those characters, and I have a feeling that they're going to be some of the bigger players going forward. But they did introduce several other characters which they might utilize more in following stories. But I'm wondering if it's their portion of the larger story of the Lost Pages that they're going into, or if they are going to be like the main crew or the main cast that's going to carry the book forward, the main story forward. I don't know. I could see it going either way. I am a fan of Jazz and Crim personally, and the Silhouette, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, so I'll just go into some of so that's it. I just think it was a really well done book. So good job, Zaid brothers. Good job, everybody who worked on it. I thought it was great, engaging, and I couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down once I picked it up, and I'm still wanting to know more about it. makes me curious to know if they are going to be releasing. I think We the People had an individual book that was done separate from the Lost Pages, but it makes me curious if there's going to be further separate issues, books that come out besides the main story, besides the Lost Pages. Anyway, so good job. This is my applause. Great job, guys. Great job. All right. Yeah. Anyway, so the first thing I noticed when I opened up Lost Pages Tome 1, which was Lost Pages, the first one, Lost Pages, was the internal monologue reminded me of a combination between Batman and Rorschach. I felt like I could see a lot of the influences with Phil, and if not Phil, then the artist and Phil and Brandon. It made me think that I could see a lot of their influences or what they pulled from, subconsciously or consciously. I enjoyed it. The internal monologue from the silhouette reminded me of kind of an old PI feel, like the first story reminded me of like an old kind of old-timey pulp comic PI story, kind of black and white ones, with the dick going around and busting up not hoods, busting up gangsters and kissing dames, that kind of stuff, foiling plans. Anyways, I did really enjoy the graffiti that was in the book. I loved it. It was part of some of the Easter eggs, like graffiti, signage, signs, and like designers, logos and stuff. There's lots of callbacks, references to other Zaid comics projects and other Zaid books and other characters, stuff about and then stuff about the creators, and then other projects that other creators are doing, working on their own books, like Death stuff, which was awesome. I love Easter eggs, so I love that kind of stuff. Again, it catches my attention. I like the description of the character, his mind within the book, and for the silhouette. And I've learned more about the silhouette and become more interested. He isn't black and white, despite the fact that he is black and white. he's black and white, but he is, his character is physically black and white. His character, his personality is not, which I really enjoyed. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. You don't know. You have to read the book to find out. It's a good book. The writer, Phil, and I'm not sure how much Brandon. I know Brandon is co-creator. I'm not sure how much he had in the writing, but the writer really builds up the tension in a good way. Like I felt, some tightness. I'm like, where is this going to lead? What's going to happen? And I really enjoyed that. It was poetic, how it was done, and the style that it was written was it was done in a poetic manner, and I enjoyed that. I like that it's a superhero book, or it's a book that I expected it to come at me in one way, and it surprised me by coming at me with in a different way, with a different approach, a different story style than I expected. So I appreciated that. Wild card, I like the linking of the stories, and that's something that I found throughout the Lost Pages books, is that they really did link story to story, and they also brought characters back that you didn't expect to see, or that he brought characters back, like they would have them off in the corner or something, and they would draw that through line there, that link, and it was the surprise, and also it was good to see. You know, I think that's good story right there. I like for Wildcard, I like the poem and the imagining of classic myths. So that was something that I also noticed in the Lost Pages, not only in the Wildcard story or stories, but yeah, actually it might have been, well, especially in the Wildcard, especially in the Wildcard stories, I just noticed that there was a lot of there was reimagining of the myths, and a new takes on how they're portrayed, and I really enjoyed that. It was cool to me because vampires have changed decade to decade, and I just saw that change. And it Wildcard also reminded me of Gambit and some other characters as well. I just thought that was cool. It's not Gambit. It's as close to it would be like he's not Gambit. He has different abilities, and it gets me wondering what kind of abilities he has, or further narrowing down of what their characters are and what their abilities are. I look forward to that if they're not already addressed, and I'm not just being clueless. Crimstone, I like the writers / creators are tying in reality with their universe. So that's something I also noticed a lot with the Lost Pages books, is that it's not just their universe, but there's also tie-ins, which I think they did with Marvel and DC, but there's just a lot of closeness. It's intertwined, this world and the Lost Pages world, in such a way that you might think that it's one and the same, which is really coll. That's again, it keeps me engaged. I love it, and I love thinking that it could be, this world that I'm living in, that the Lost Pages are writing about. So it's good, it's fun. I would hate to live in that world, but but it's still it's pretty awesome. Great universe creation, great buildup of a roster. So with Crimstone, Wildcard, Silhouette, Matt Black, all these characters. I don't know if Matt Black is introduced in the first one. I don't remember if she is. But the roster buildup is really cool that Zaid Comics is doing with those characters, and the universe creation. They're really building up the roster, really building up a really fleshed out universe with tons of story and tons of story potential. A note that I had for Jazz was that something struck me was the story was very real, very honest, and it was a little hard to read just because of how real it was. Really made the creators really made a sad and a character that you could really empathize with was sad and cool all at the same time, which I don't know many superheroes or characters that I would actually feel that for. Not in that way. It's a really tragic, painful story I can identify with. It makes you hate people. So Phil, I just want to say, is really great at tying metaphors into the stories to show how to deal with real world problems / struggles. I just thought that was something that that was done well. probably show it somewhere around here. But it was just really impressive. Something that I saw within the books that they really. It's not just good story for action and engaging universe, but it's good story as in it kind of leads you how to deal with life and some lessons, some things to take with you into life. And so I just thought it was really good. And I noticed the catchphrase. From I don't know if Phil got the catchphrase from the. I don't know if you guys got the catchphrase from your story, "What a rush," or if you got it from, or if you guys came up with it first and then started using it. But either way, it was great. Good to see that. Masquerade. I don't really want to spoil this, but he's a bigger character in the book than I expected. He's more significant than I expected. And I have a feeling the same thing goes for the Silhouette and Crimstone. And yeah. I was wondering if I'm just wondering the timeline as far as when one of the characters' Wildcard begins existing, when the Lost Pages begin, and when the writer of the Lost Pages begins, or the person telling the tale of the Lost Pages. It's an interesting timeline. I'm not sure if it's intentionally built this way, but it makes me question the timeline, and that's good. I want to be thinking about, deeper into the universe. I want to be thinking like, when does this event take place? Is it before this event? When does that happen? And how does that fit within the universe? What's the logic there? What's the timeline for this? And so it made me think. Masquerade, and Wildcard especially, it made me consider when these things are happening, what's happening, how old people are. For Mists of the Lost Pages, it was a great job following up Lost Pages 1 with Mists of the Lost Pages to build up the roster of characters, develop existing characters more, and I already went into that. I'm just really impressed by that. There's nice linking of the old man into the new story as a bystander, if I spotted that correctly. The Lost Pages universe exists with differing. Something that I noticed, was the mixing of different gods into the story, different mythologies, and I just thought that was really cool. Something similar. I think they do something similar with Marvel, with Mephisto and the Asgardians and everything. That there's a mix of different lore and mythologies from around the world and how that intersects and how that mingles, and it's cool. It's a cool choice. The humor was something, again, I'm just going to specify it, put a point on it, is great in the stories. They're like gems, but they're infrequent. I just thought it was good. I ended up looking forward to some of the humor, some of the points, because there is some dark stuff in the books, and there is a lot of heaviness and action and things that might make you angry or whatever, just things that are not good. And then there's also these points of humor, which I think is awesome. There's nice usage of biblical theology, if it was intentional, with the snake within Egypt. I thought that was really awesome. I also noticed something with within Myths of Lost Pages that, and this is brought up later. I'm not sure if this is a spoiler. Actually, I'm just gonna say spoilers right now. Okay, I think I've already spoiled some things. I already gave you my broad view of everything, but if you're gonna listen further, I'm gonna give some more detailed comments on some of the characters and what happens with them. So spoilers now. All right. Yeah, everything, and this comes up later in the story, which Phil or the writers or Phil and Brandon, whoever kind of agrees upon. Everything that you see with Krim, all the action that you see with Krim, doesn't necessarily take place, doesn't actually occur, which is curious. It makes me wonder about how things are done. I understand how things are done, but still curious. It leaves like a gap. It's like 1 plus blank equals 3, and I'm not sure what that is. And there could be. I mean, it'll be 2, but how does the 2 get there? Is it like a full equation within that little space, or is it just the 2? Anyways, it's like looking at an egg carton and one of the eggs is missing and wondering how did that egg go missing? You know, yeah. Anyways, I don't know if I'm explaining it well. You're looking at your TV and then your TV's gone. All right, the TV's gone, but how did the TV get lost? Anyways, yeah, that was cool. The changing art styles and writing styles for Lost Pages, all the Lost Pages that I've seen so far, from Lost Pages, Myths of Lost Pages, and Lost Pages 2, it really does lend to each character being in its own in their own world, within a world. So within the Lost Pages world, each one being within their own world, like Spider-Man, the Avengers, whatever, having their own takes on what's happening in that world, in that universe, but and them being part of a cohesive one, but it's still feeling like, you know, its own world or neighborhood. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Then the homages. There's a couple that I spotted before. If I did spot an homage, if it was intentional, either way, I enjoyed it. American Psycho, what I thought was an homage to American Psycho, that was awesome. With the pianist, I believe. I don't want to spoil too much, but it was awesome. It was hilarious. I love that stuff. And I like the gaming mechanic stuff for Drift Legend. I thought that was cool. Seeing the mechanics and everything, like gaming mechanics. Again, the humor. The humor was awesome. I just loved it. I look forward to it. You know, you're reading some heavy, not good stuff, bad guys doing bad guy things, and like traumatic childhood stuff, and then you see humor, and I just love that. So it was great. Thank you for the good humor. You know, some books, you know, like in horror movies, you have some points of humor. Or in other movies, you see points of humor, like in the Avengers or something, and I just enjoy that. Life has humor. It also has darkness, but it has humor. So that was good. Lighten things up. Many of the Myths of the Lost Pages stories left me wanting to read more. Again, that's just a general thing. Got the entire Lost Pages tome. I just really look forward to reading about it, either within a full book, like within a Lost Pages book, or within, I don't know, an individual graphic novel, or individual story itself. I would just really like to see some stuff. Lost Pages 2, the humor can hit me like right out of the box. Really wish I had the colored version of these books for some pages. I pretty much went over everything already. The story really picked up with Lost Pages 2, and some of these pages I just really wished I'd splurged and gotten Lost Pages and Myths of Lost Pages in full color, because I know I'm missing things, and it looks awesome from what I've seen. A lot of it looks awesome. Yeah, I just really love the characters. I love the universe that you guys built. I love the universe that Zaid Comics, the Zaid brothers, Diaz brothers built, and as well as all the other creators who had a hand in this, in these projects. They just did a really great job, and I really enjoyed that universe that you created. I'm looking forward to more. There's good morals, good moral lessons, and good story within it. I am really looking forward to reading Lost Pages 3, which is the next story review that I have coming out. Today, tomorrow, I don't know when, soon. But I also did a review of the art in a video for the Tome and for Lost Pages 3, which you can also see I did it in the past, just like a week or two ago. But just thanks again to everybody for watching. Thank you to Zaid Comics, the two Diaz bros, everybody who worked on the original books: Eugene Retevue, Ricardo Jaime, Dan Dahl, Shelby Robertson, Maxie Dallo, John, Joe Ball, Maria Lopez, Alan Alonso, Matt Dalton, Brandon Diaz, Avery Butterworth, Simon Pothier, Brianne Anden, Monk, and Kyung Lee. Just great job, all of you guys, and I really appreciate it, and hope to see more from the Lost Pages universe. If you liked my review, you can like the video, subscribe if you want to. I don't know how often or how frequently my videos will be coming out. Anyways, but at least one more with Lost Pages 3 review for the story. And you can comment below if you have any comments, if you have any complaints, if you have any adoration, if you just want to mock me and put jokes in the comments, that's also great. And you can share this, and you can also have a good day. So thank you for watching, for sticking through this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.